What's up YouTube? It's your boy Anime Princess, and today we're going to be breaking down how to craft your very own perfect spark amulet, whether you're playing Ark Mage or a non-Ark Mage variant such as Trickster. So looking at my amulet, I have 190 crit multi, 300 maximum mana, 100% projectile speed, and 80% projectile damage. This is for an Ark Mage character. If you were going non-Ark Mage, you'd replace the mana with either +2 to all spell skill gems or +2 to lightning skill gems. To start things off, we're going to have to go shopping for the base. If you're playing Ark Mage, the item level needs to be 85. There'll be a link to this search in the description. Non-Ark Mage, the eye level doesn't really matter. The eye level is to hit T1 maximum mana. That's the only thing that requires the 85. So you are going to not want to buy a mirrored base because you can't craft on mirrored bases, and you're going to see a lot of those for cheap. So split is fine. Right now the cheapest one is 45. If it does have influences, it will likely be cheaper because this makes crafting a little bit harder. But realistically speaking, it won't be too much harder. So if you could save like 10 divines, it's probably worth it. Just keep in mind, if you do get an uninfluenced version, it will be the easiest to craft. So the crafting process in itself is actually pretty simple. We're just going to be using Deafening Essence of Scorn to roll crit multi every single time. For Ark Mage, we're going to stop when we hit T1 maximum mana, which has a weighting of 1000. That is roughly 52 essences per try. If you are going for a Trickster variant, you have to have either +1 to level all skill gems, which is only a 50 weighting, or to lightning skill gems, which is 200. So add those together, it's 4 times as hard to make the non-Ark Mage variant at this step. Now, once you have your prefix and your suffix, you are always going to have a third mod in the prefix, which is not going to be ideal. So your options here are either to Veiled Orb at this step, which is a 33% chance to remove that bad prefix for the Veil, or you can do Annul, which is also 33%, but this will let you craft on suffixes can't be changed, and then slam your Veiled Orb for a 50% chance at that stage. So depending on the cost of Veiled Orbs, you can do the math, whether you just want to take the 33% chance of the Veiled Orb hitting, or bump that up to 50%. The second option, obviously you're going to miss the Annul sometimes, and you're going to have to re-roll with the essences. Alright, so once you do get the Veiled Orb to hit properly, you're going to want to unveil it. Now Ark Mage, again, is going to be cheaper at this step because we already have mana rolled onto it, and a lot of the mods are actually going to be blocked simply by having mana there. So you have to be able to unveil hybrid projectile damage, projectile speed. And once you do that, you're essentially done. You can use some catalysts, abrasive catalyst to add, or is it this one? No, it's unstable catalyst, which gives you a better crit multi on the amulet. Now, at this step, your amulet is only going to be half as good as mine. If you do want to go all out and have a mirrored amulet with doubled modifiers, we're going to have to use an item called Reflecting Mist. So Reflecting Mist unpredictably reflects a rare amulet or ring, breaking it into 2 mirrored halves with reflected modifiers. So what that means is it will change the magnitude of the item modifiers by 1.5 to 2.1 times. Mine hit two times, so it could have went up to 2.1. Mine is almost as good as it could have been, but it could also only hit 1.5. There's also the added downside that it is random whether it doubles it positively or doubles it negatively. So it is possible, as I can show you, to hit negative modifiers. So here we have negative maximum mana, negative projectile speed and proj damage, negative crit multi. And you either want to hit all negative or all positive, because when you hit the Reflecting Mist, you get 2. So keep that in mind, because each mod can individually roll double positive or double negative, which means since this base is pretty expensive and the whole crafting process just to get up to where we are right now is so expensive, you may want to Hinocor's Lock onto your amulet, and then you can hover the reflecting mist, and you're just praying every mod is positive or every mod is negative. If that happens, you know, obviously one of the two is going to be the perfect amulet, and one of the reflections is going to be the inverse of the perfect amulet. All right, so for me, it took me 4 Hinocor's Locks to get exactly everything perfectly doubled. And I don't actually know how many on average it can take. One of my viewers took 7 to be able to double it all perfectly. And someone on Reddit took, I think, almost 50. Although I don't have enough information to know statistically how much it'll take. Basically, this is a very expensive craft where you should be ready to just keep buying Hinocor's Locks and keep trying over and over until you get the reflecting mist to hit everything doubled positively or negatively. Okay, so at this step, let's assume your Hinocor's Lock misses the first try. You're going to have to remove the Hinocor's Lock in order to try again. So there are a few ways to do this. The first way would be you just hit it with 1 catalyst, and then you have to recatalyze it up for the crit mod. The other way is you could just change the anoint, because you can use a special anoint to change even a mirrored amulet. But just keep in mind, you want to have the 20 crit multi on there every time. So those are 2 different ways to like reset the Hinocor's Lock. At the end of the day, whether you do choose to double it or not, it's still going to be best in slot. Obviously, it's 2 times as powerful if you are able to do this very extravagant, expensive final step with the locks and the mists. But even if you don't have the currency to do that, this is still probably a best in slot amulet, even just with the first steps of the craft. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys live on Twitch. All right, peace.